Hi, I'm Susan Keefe from Rhubarb and Cod, and today I'm making spaghetti with lentil meatballs. Whether you're vegetarian or not, it's always a good idea to have a few veg-friendly recipes in your arsenal. What I love about these meatballs is they don't attempt to mimic meat. They taste exactly like what they're made of: mushrooms, white beans, and lentils. So rather than falling short of meaty expectations, they are their own thing. Okay, let's get into this. We're gonna start with a slow roasted tomato sauce. Now bear in mind this sauce takes 2 hours to make, so it's in your best interest to get it underway as quickly as possible. The sauce isn't labor intensive, but you do have to check in every now and then. In other words, this is the perfect lazy Sunday cook. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Wash 1 pint of cherry tomatoes and 4 large beefsteak tomatoes. Cut the large tomatoes into wedges and cut the cherry tomatoes in half. Arrange them on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Lob the top off of an entire head of garlic and add that to the pan as well. It should be a tight fit, but you don't have to worry about overcrowding the pan. It's a non-issue in this instance. Drizzle the tomatoes and garlic with a generous amount of olive oil and sprinkle with a good amount of kosher salt. Place the baking sheet on the middle rack of the oven and roast for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, rotating the pan occasionally. While the tomatoes are roasting, we can start working on our non-meat meatballs. Heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a large deep skillet until shimmering. Add 1 diced red onion and a generous pinch of salt. Sauté until just translucent. Stir in 1/2 teaspoon of fennel seeds, 2 teaspoons of dried basil, and 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Sauté until fragrant. Next, add 227 grams of sliced cremini mushrooms. Sauté until browned. Using a slotted spoon, remove the mushroom and onion mixture from the skillet and transfer to a bowl. Set aside. Deglaze the pan with 2.5 cups of veggie stock. Stir in 1 can of white beans, drained and rinsed, 1 cup of dried green lentils, 3 sprigs of thyme, and 2 bay leaves. Bring the mixture up to a boil and reduce to a simmer. Let cook for 15 to 20 minutes or until the lentils are tender and most of the moisture has been absorbed. Remove the thyme and bay leaves. Take a cup of the bean and lentil mixture and set aside. Place the mushrooms in a large food processor and add the remaining beans and lentils. Blitz until smooth. Transfer the puree to a bowl and add back in the reserved beans and lentils. Crack in an egg and stir in 1 cup of breadcrumbs. Mix until well integrated. Using an ice cream scoop, scoop the meatball mixture onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Refine the shape of each scoop and refrigerate until ready to bake. At this point, your tomatoes should be ready to come out of the oven. Once you remove the tomatoes from the oven, increase the temperature to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the oven comes up to temperature, add the meatballs and bake for 20 minutes. While the meatballs are baking, place the roasted garlic and roasted tomatoes in a large food processor. Add 1/4 cup of basil leaves and blitz until smooth. Stream in 1 cup of vegetable stock and 1/2 cup of dry white wine. Pour the sauce into a large deep skillet and bring to a simmer. Let cook for 10 to 15 minutes. This is a good time to start cooking your pasta. I use spaghetti, but you can use any long strand pasta you fancy. Cook the pasta according to the package's directions, then drain and set aside until ready to serve. When you're ready to eat, create a nest of pasta and place 2 to 3 meatballs inside. Cover with sauce, a sprinkling of cheese, and fresh basil leaves. And that's it. A meat-free version of a classic. I hope you enjoy this one, and if you give it a go, let me know how it went in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for cooking with me. I'll see you next time.